Well, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta say, what's going on right now with Nickmercs on Twitter is absolutely insane. I mean, we discussed this on Saturday Night Hypnosis, and now I'm making a dedicated video about it because we need to talk about it. My live streams don't get nowhere near the amount of views as my regular videos, and I want to keep the conversation going, so let's talk about it in the comments down below. But yes, apparently, Activision has pulled Nickmercs' skin, apparently, that was being sold on their Warzone platform, or whatever the case would be in Call of Duty. They removed this skin because all Nickmercs said was simply leave the kids out of it. That's all he literally said. I can pull up the tweet right here so you guys can see. Where if you look at this tweet from the official Call of Duty account, it says, due to recent events, we have removed the Nickmercs operator bundle from the Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone store. We are focused on celebrating Pride with our employees and our community. Ladies and gentlemen, what they mean is that they want to celebrate that good old delicious P word, the one that they want to add to the LGBTQ acronym. They want to celebrate that because all Nickmercs sincerely said was to leave the kids out of it. We even have an account, Gays Against Groomers. I do follow this account. It says all the man said was to leave little kids alone. We agree. So we got to ask, what's on the hard drives of whoever was behind this decision? This is going to be a crazy video, guys. So let's get into it. But of course, before we do, just consider giving this video a like to push us out into the YouTube algorithm, and consider subscribing because we're on our way to 24,000 subscribers. So we have an article here from show media website IGN. Now, this particular one really pissed me off. And the reason why is because IGN, just like a lot of other fake show websites, are trying to spin this narrative about what Nickmercs said about leave the kids alone into something that is simply anti-LGBTQ. They want to make that a thing because, again, these particular companies support adding the P word to the acronym. This is their goal. This is something that they want to normalize. It's something they want to legalize. And they're trying to make it into this grand thing of, oh, he's just completely against LGBTQ. That is nowhere near the case. The parents that were in this particular protest that gets mentioned in the tweet were fighting against the indoctrination of kids and sex books being talked about with kids in their public libraries at school. But let's watch this video from whoever the hell this fucking idiot is. Let's watch this video because she completely says bullshit. Like, the entire thing she says doesn't make any sense. Let's talk about it.
Just as Pride Month is taking off this June, Activision has removed FaZe Clan member Nickmercs' Call of Duty skin from Modern Warfare 2 and
By the way, lady, you're lacking the chest for this kind of an outfit, by the way.
Warzone's in-game shops. This follows the anti-LGBTQ+ comment that Nickmercs tweeted in response to a tweet showing a fight between anti- and pro-LGBTQ+ demonstrators.
Now watch what she does here. She spins the fight that happened between the people protesting the sex books and the people who were on the side of the LGBTQ indoctrination. She spins it to look like the anti-side was the one that started the fight first. But the funny thing is, nobody officially started the fight. Nobody knows who started the fight, who went to blows first, but she definitively says that they started the fight. So again, not only are they shilling for people who are into kids, but they're also lying to you in this video just to look like they are on the side of the LGBTQ.
Outside of a school voting to recognize June as Pride Month. The tweet showed anti-LGBTQ protesters leading an attack against the pro-LGBTQ protesters.
You see what I'm saying? Anti-LGBTQ protesters leading the attack. They didn't lead anything. They did not lead anything, ladies and gentlemen. It has never been said who threw first punches. And just to be clear, if you look at the pictures from the event and the protests that actually went down, the cops, when everybody was lined up, the cops were facing the LGBTQ side. So that leads me to believe that the LGBTQ side was the violent one. But again, this is IGN for you.
And Chris Puckett, a prominent esports broadcaster, quote tweeted the video saying, "This happened 4 blocks from my Overwatch League apartment. Americans are in a sad place right now. Let people love who they love and live their own life."
Nobody is talking about love who you love and live your own life. That is a slippery slope, ladies and gentlemen. That is not even the topic of discussion right now. Nobody once brought up love who you love is love, all this other crap that they try to put out there. Nobody's talking about that. All he said was leave the kids out of the conversation. That's it. That's it. If you want to have this conversation with adults, by all means, go for it. But you guys are so desperate to want to talk about sex with kids that it's just odd. It's weird to me. It's weird to me. There's one thing that you can have sex education that talks about your body parts and how things work and all this typical stuff that people learned in sex ed, but they don't got to talk about sexuality. They don't got to talk about kink or any of this stuff that was never taught in sex ed. Now you want to make this into a normal thing and you want to say, oh, well, they have the internet. They've seen worse. That's an even worse mindset. Oh, because you saw bad things online. Clearly, we need to push these books in school to teach them how to suck dick sooner. It's so ridiculous. I swear to God, I really can't stand these people.
Nickmercs replied to this tweet saying they should leave little children alone. That's the real issue.
Yes,
his reply
that is the real issue.
In backlash from several users, including Puckett himself, who asked, "Who is they, and what terrible act is everyone afraid of?" I think and hope.
Who is they? Oh, I don't know. Perhaps the adults who are passing laws and passing administration laws within schools in order to push certain books that are all about sex on kids, 11-year-olds, 10-year-olds, to push these books on kids. And it has nothing to do with the fact that it's specifically talking about gay sex and kink, even though that is obviously very terrible. It's about the fact that it's talking about sex overall in general with 10-year-olds and 11-year-olds and showing them basically how to fuck instead of just going over your anatomy and going over your body and how things work to prep you and give you the knowledge needed to teach you consequences about actions that you might partake in when you become an adult later on in your life. But they don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about the kink stuff and they want to indoctrinate kids. Oh, it just feels good, right? It just feels good. That's the kind of mindset that they want these kids to have. So when they eventually become victims, it becomes something that's able to be swept under the rug.
Hope the goal of most of them is to reduce child suicides. This is done through acceptance and removing the stigma of feeling or being different.
False. That entire statement is false. I think / hope the goal of most of them is to reduce child suicides. This is done through acceptance and removing the stigma of feeling and being different. False. Because suicide rates have been going up the more inclusive this country becomes, in case you haven't realized that, Mr. Puckett.
After the backlash and response, Nickmercs did not apologize for his comment and refused to take down his tweet as stated in his stream the next day. He denied holding anti-LGBTQ+ beliefs and said he didn't mean to upset anyone. But he also didn't clarify what he meant by his original statement.
There's nothing to clarify. It is a simple statement. How stupid must you be if you can't understand a simple statement of leave the kids out of it? Like that entire statement is one of the easiest statements to understand, and yet she's like, oh, they didn't clarify it. So I don't know. They didn't clarify what exactly he meant. It is unbelievable. And the fact that Activision decided to drop Nickmercs because of this is hilarious, and also goes to show that Activision and all the companies that are retweeting it with falsified information about it being anti-LGBTQ should also be under your microscope, because again, if they are all for this, it makes you wonder why that is. And then, just as an update to this, as I was filming this video, apparently Tim the Tatman, who is friends with Nickmercs, just recently came out and said that he doesn't feel right that Nickmercs got his skin removed and Tim the Tatman's skin is still up, because they got their skins at the same time. So now he has requested Call of Duty to remove the skin. If you look at this tweet here from Tim the Tatman, it says, Nickmercs has been my friend for years. We went in getting our Call of Duty operators together. It feels wrong for me to have mine and him no longer have his. In support of my friend, please remove the Tim the Tatman bundle at Call of Duty. That is exactly how it needs to be, ladies and gentlemen. Just look at the amount of likes that are on this tweet right now. I went through this entire tweet as much as I possibly could on Saturday Night Hypnosis, and I could not find, other than maybe one or two, a single negative review or comment on this particular thread. It was nothing but comments of people being in support of Tim the Tatman making the right choice and standing by his friend against these absolute psychopaths. So at the end of the day, I hope that Nickmercs does not bow down to the mob. I know like he kind of almost sort of did, but he didn't quite do so. He kind of just remained pretty much in the middle as much as you possibly could and then went quiet. So I hope they never bend the knee. I hope they realize how much money they might lose by doing this if people truly wanted to boycott Activision and Blizzard and Call of Duty. But at the end of the day, Call of Duty's name is so huge, I highly doubt that's going to happen. But I think the statement has been made, the line in the sand has been drawn, and now it's going to draw even more fire to the culture war at hand. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it, and if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.